right, guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about journaling and taking notes. And so the first thing I want to mention is I use smaller journals. I like to hold them in my hand. This is, of course, my regular journal at this moment. I'm about to fill it up. It's about to be finished. This journal is where I keep my Bible study notes and all kinds of stuff like that. It's Doctor Who, which is fun. That's a TARDIS. Ha! And right here, this is my prayer journal, which I'll show you in just a second how that works. And I write down my prayer lists. I just finished off my last one because we're moving and I'm doing my new one now. So that's my new prayer journal for the next probably years. That'll last me a while. One of these journals with my notes for Bible study or whatever, that only lasts me maybe a month at most. And this thing will last me like a year, 2 years, because the prayer list, of course, is a lot less than all the notes I write here. So, and plus it's unlined. This last journal right here is a calendar. So the first thing I want to say is I love moleskin journals. This is a moleskin, which you can see that impression there. So moleskin journals are really great. But I just got into the calendar recently. So the calendar is great. It has everything broken down by week. So you've got your calendar on one side and then task list on the other, or note space. I love this journal, and it's still small so that it fits with everything else in the front pouch of my book bag. So that's where I calendar, and I do keep up with my notes on calendaring because it helps me to be able to do my time. And if you're a consultant, you gotta keep up with time. Back to these. So I just got this journal, which is my new prayer journal. And generally what I do in any of these is, of course, in the very front, it gives you your information. So I write my name, my information. It says as reward. I care about my journals a lot. So I put between 50 and $100 and I'm dead serious about it. I'll have them mail it back to me and I give a reward for my journal being gone, which is cool. Inside of these, and it has my address. I keep these so close to me. I've only ever had one journal stolen, which was in Kenya whenever I was preaching there. But that makes a lot of sense because there were so many people interested in what we're doing, and we just were constantly in the press, and somebody had pulled it out of my pocket. So inside of here, what I generally do is I put, to start with, it's just prayer list. And then I put the date I started. So I put today's date, 2016, and then it's going to be May. So I'm in May 2016 for my prayer list, and that's that. I'll start writing prayers and just list them here, and I'll go page after page. Then I can come back and I can put if they're answered. I'll leave a little space to say what the answer was, and then I'll just put in here. I'm not going to do one because I don't want to do this on camera. So that's that. And I always date my prayers so I can keep up with how they're answered. Inside of here, let's talk about taking notes. So the normal way I take notes, and I'll do a demonstration of how it is in here. Since I take notes on everything, there's tons and tons and tons and tons of notes in here on just everything you can think of. I have random notes, but I also have notes that I write on the Bible. And I just want to show you how to do notes on the Bible. I always timestamp stuff. So I always write down the date and all that kind of stuff. No matter what, I take clippings of stuff a lot. And sometimes I'll stick them in here. So for doing a Bible study entry, I'll just show you a template. So I'll put this as template so I remember. This is a template. The first thing I do is record the date, 2016-5. Yep, it's Friday the 13th. Ooh, weird. Okay, so that's that. Second thing I do is passage. So this tells me what verse I'm in. Verse from Bible. And then I put thought or to remember. So this is what God spoke to me. And I'll put information here, so I'll fill that up with what God spoke to me. And then I put application today. So I immediately put something that explains what I can do with it. I write in there what the application for today is. So I can say, if the passage was, of course, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he'll direct your paths. I'll put thought or thing to remember today would be, how do I acknowledge him? And then I can put in here, in all I do, take moments and hear him, then thank him and tell someone, I'm thankful. I love encouraging people, so I try to speak encouragement. I do it through Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. I like to put up encouragement. And then the last thing is prayer. So at the end of it, I take that verse and I pray through it, and I say, and I'll write the prayer down a lot of times. You'll find in a lot of my journals just tons of prayers written to God, or I've written it out while I'm praying it to him because it spoke to me and I want to leave something behind for my kids. But I'll put prayer and I'll say, this is my prayer. And then I'll pray the verse back. So you might write the verse, or you might write the application in another way and say, Lord, help me in all that I do to hear you and then thank you and tell someone I'm thankful. Help me to be active about acknowledging you. So that'd be how I write the prayer out, and I'd write that out here. And that's pretty much how I do a journal. Now, let me show you something neat. I'm going to take you on a field trip in my house real quick. This is real. I didn't clean up or anything. Here's my field trip. I'm going right into my room and look right here in my nightstand. I'll show you something. That is a chunk of my journals. I have them in boxes, have journals in Bibles, but this is just a few chunk of my journals. Guys, these span from my college years right here. It's pretty amazing. 20 years ago. Anyways, it's my journals from over the years. That is my treasure I'm leaving my kids. And that is my encouragement on journaling. Get to journaling today. Go for it. It's awesome. So one last thing on this devotional talk. I'll put inside of the description here links to get access to those Moleskine journals and the Doctor Who journal for you Doctor Hooligans. And
Is that a thing?
also, no, I made it up. Oh. There is something though. But anyways, so that'll be in the description. And I also want to say, this is a great way to follow up on how your year goes and what's happened. The calendar is a good way to see what you've been active and what's going on in your year and go back through it. And it's a journal, so you can box it away when you're done and then come back years later. The other journals are great because you can go back and see where you were in your spiritual life. You can see your high water marks, the ancient landmarks with God you've got, and you can go back there and go, wow, this is where God encountered me in this way. And then it keeps you going in your hard times. So when you go through hard times, you can go back to what you learned in the desert the last time and, review it, and it keeps you going. So all of this has a huge value, just even besides leaving it for the next generation. Plus, taking the Bible and doing daily application is a huge deal. Praying and having conversation with God about it is a huge deal. It will change and affect and grow you in the faith. So if you want to hear more about this kind of stuff, you're welcome to go to the DHM channel, which has tons of stuff on it for our ministry stuff. I'll put a link in the description here, as well as subscribe here and keep coming back for these DDTs, or check out the DDT playlist for daily devotional thoughts with me. All right, I guess that's it. Have a great day. Blessings.